Welcome to a BXG trailer reaction video. Welcome to chaos, apparently. My name is Brenton Beswick. I am one of your hosts alongside my co-hosts. The sun also rises. The Tuscan sun also rises.
The Tuscan sun also rises.
Greg Filson, how are you tonight, Greg?
I'm doing okay. Starting off the week here fresh, back to school. Somehow I missed this trailer, probably because I was watching the Peyton Eli broadcast, so they probably didn't promote it during that. I don't know, but I'm excited that I missed it so we could do this reaction.
Yes, so we are reacting. We should say, about probably a day late and a dollar short as far as this goes, but we are reacting to Marvel Studios' Moon Knight, starring Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke, which will debut on Disney Plus March 30th of this fine year, 2022, the year of our Lord. But we do have the trailer reaction video. We're going to watch the trailer. Neither of us have seen it. I've seen a couple pictures. It's really hard to avoid, certain things on like Instagram and Twitter and stuff. But we are going to have that, and I'm ready when you are.
Yeah, I just hope he gives the Dracula. I hope Dracula gives him his money. So
right.
That's all I really care about.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Woohoo!
Hello, and welcome to Staying Awake.
I have a sleeping disorder.
Ooh, I like that accent.
I can't tell the difference between my waking life and dreams.
Hello, and welcome to Staying Awake.
I like that.
I think I'm losing it.
I like the music.
Yeah, it's...
You're bloody useless.
Cuddy.
Stevie.
Steven. I can't tell the difference between life and dreams.
Thank you.
He's
Lost the contact lens.
Hope you find it.
Thanks.
flip phone. That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're alive. What's wrong with you, Mark?
Why did you call me Mark? It must be very difficult. The voice in your head. There's chaos in you. Embrace the chaos.
Is that Batman? It was that Batman.
That looks to me, what I'll say about this to start off is this actually feels like a series. Like it just has this, it's a new character.
Right.
So what I mean is like we're actually getting a development of something that nobody knows anything about Moon Knight.
Right.
No one's ever read Moon Knight before. I'm sorry. It's just like one of those things where like we're taking a character, we're basically dialing him up from scratch, and it seems really cool. It seems way different than the other shows, just looking at it. Like it's definitely, you said about Batman, but it has a darkness to it that is different than other Marvel things.
Yeah. And so number one, I'm gonna get my Boston verbiage on here and say that looked wicked cool. But the problem is that as wicked cool as that looked, was the problem that I see for it is I have a hard time believing that the promise will be delivered on simply because this is a Disney property. This is a Disney show. That looked like an HBO show from the trailer.
Yeah.
Like you said, it had a darkness to it. It had like some kind of I would say like maybe some psychological thriller type elements to it. There was obviously some, pretty solid violence. It doesn't look like a Disney show to me. And I think that they're going to have a hard time delivering on the promise of what that was, because it felt like a Batman thing. Because and the case has been made, they have a similar look, not really like a kind of similar backstory, but not really. They're both very physically imposing, physically violent. But I have a hard time believing that Disney can deliver on the promise of delivering a darker, psychologically terrifying, to some extent, I guess, character. I mean, we've seen them deliver on, very brutal action. The scene that I always bring up is from Civil War, where Bucky and Cap are just beating the brakes off of the military guys in the hallway of the apartment.
Right.
But I feel like it's the psychological aspect that really looks really cool, that I think that they might have a hard time delivering on, just because at the end of the day, this is a Disney thing.
I mean, and I was going to say, not just because it was a Disney thing, because I think that Disney's trying to be a little looser with certain things like this in a way, having the darker themes or whatever. I mean, WandaVision got dark at the end, and I think to some degree.
Right.
I think the hardest thing about this is that we haven't had a psychological thriller in the MCU. We've had spy thrillers. We haven't. Right. So that might be the hardest thing, is just to, if you're not necessarily a psychological thriller person, some people just aren't. It like freaks them out, and that may be a tough thing for people to grasp initially, if that is what isn't their thing, because it definitely feels like it's not going to be. There's definitely action in it, but I think you're right. I think it feels like more of a, and that's why I said a series. I think it's going to build up with like the psychological trauma, all this stuff, till we actually get to whatever place this fills in to the MCU, because ultimately all these fit into the puzzle. Right. Of the actual movies. Sure. Right. So I think that'll be interesting. To me, this is, we knew She-Hulk was coming out. We knew these other things were coming out. This is the one that I think has the highest ceiling and the lowest floor. Like what you said, I would agree with that. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Now, Oscar Isaac is in it, and he's awesome. Everyone loves Oscar Isaac. If it hits all the notes, then it's going to be the best show, I think. If it hits all of them, it doesn't have to, but I think it could, with this idea of a psychological thriller. I also love psychological thrillers, but if it misses more than it hits, it could be really bad, because it could be a point where it just isn't anything other than him being crazy, and it's just kind of it's almost like a caricature of that kind of event. It all depends which way they go. I mean, the trailer was basically gave you nothing. It was him being crazy, and you see the costume, which looks cool, and that's it. No Dracula sighting.
Right. And that's the thing that I do think we need to bear in mind, is that while that looked like a kind of like an HBO psychological thriller, at the end of the day, it's still a superhero thing. Right. So that's going to have to work its way in. And I thought it looked great. I did think it looks cool. I'm excited. It looks cool. They have a cool look and a cool feel for what's going on here. But I just am very concerned about, I don't know if I'm very concerned, but I'm concerned about, whether they can deliver on the promise of that trailer, because I thought the trailer was excellent, I should say. It's just that looking ahead a little bit, it maybe is it going to be able to live up to what I personally think that it looks like it could? We'll see. I don't know a whole lot about that character. Like you said, he's not exactly a mainline Marvel character by any of the stretch of the imagination, but we'll see. I'm excited for it. March 30th. Yeah,
me too. March 30th. Glad. It felt like a million years ago when we first talked about this, and I was like, man, I can't wait for this to come out, and it's going to be here before we know it. So,
yeah, that's my thing. Is there going to be something else between Boba Fett and this? Because you're looking at 6 weeks of like nothing. If they're, I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the.
I can't think of anything in between. We haven't had any trailers or anything, so it almost feels like it is going to be like 6 weeks and nothing.
Yeah.
Well, I know the biggest thing too is that everybody's going to be on that Batman.
Yeah. That's
thing.
fair.
And so like they're just I know that would be a TV streaming thing, but there is that thing of like if you're Batman, that's gonna have 2-3 weeks of people talking about it.
Yeah, just get out
One
of the
way or the other.
sort
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
So we're excited. We thought
Yeah.
the trailer was great.
Yeah, 100%. Thought it was great.
And
Looks good.
We'll see if they're able to follow through on how good it looked. So leave a like, subscribe, share, join us on the podcast Fridays.
Ring
and
the bell.
Mondays. Ring the bell, whichever way it is. Join us on the podcast on Mondays and Fridays.
Weekend hug.
Link tree in the bio. Take care, friends.
Bye.